from New York.
Oh, what's
It's the show. Oh, we have new banners and a new banner setup.
Make sure there are no mistakes.
Yeah.
Hey,
Heads roll last time.
Difficulties.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just saying.
Yeah. It's true.
It's just more creativity.
It don't look
and I think
bad.
it looks
No, it
nice.
looks great.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
also
good.
because week one, the banner system failed us miserably. It'll
Hello,
never happen
we're
again.
rusty. It's week one.
Yeah.
We had no training camp.
Yeah.
We are starting with Mahomes' game-winning drive. Aided by a pass interference, which was a pass interference. The Chiefs won despite Mahomes throwing 2 interceptions and for 150 yards. Okay? Last week was a toe. This week, people aren't happy with the PI. The Bengals fans, big complainers.
Yeah.
It clearly a PI.
Lucky again is the question.
What did I say last week? Last week I said they got very lucky. And once again, I will say, yeah, the Chiefs are incredibly lucky. They're lucky for a number of reasons. First and foremost, that Cincinnati keeps coming to Arrowhead and having the exact same thing happen. Joe Burrow, ball in his hands, fourth quarter, late drive, can win the game. And then gives up a bad sack, gives the ball back to Patrick Mahomes, then a young player who probably shouldn't even be in the game commits a penalty that everyone knows is a penalty, but Bengals fans still whine about it, and then Harrison Butker kicks the field goal. Joe Burrow's sad. The Arrowhead, that is something. They're also lucky that it's now officially, if it ever wasn't, back to being Arrowhead Stadium.
Here we go.
So the first banner, there it is.
That worked.
It works great. Rest in peace, Burrowhead Stadium. It's like we never knew ye. You existed for one game because of one weekend, because of one fluky overtime, but I'll keep going. They are lucky that Patrick Mahomes can have, to my eye, arguably the worst game of his career, and they win. We can show you the numbers. The pass to Rashee Rice was awesome. Almost nothing else was good. And the second pick was exceptional by Cam Taylor-Britt. But the first pick was a terrible decision or throw. And for my money,
almost one more pick.
Right, there's almost another one. For my money, it was as bad of a Mahomes game as I've seen, and they've won anyway. They're lucky that they dealt with the insanity of the Bills game last year. That was the Kadarius Toney stood off sides and took away the Kelsey play. Because if you remember, that the Chiefs kind of acted like that play ended that drive, even though they still had plenty of time to get in field goal range after that play. In this game, before the 4th and 16 was a 4th and 6 that they picked up, and their backup left tackle committed illegal hands to the face. A few plays after, their right tackle had committed a hold on a huge Kelsey play, and they kept their composure for the 4th and 16. And they're lucky that they're good enough to overcome 3 turnovers. When the rest of the league this season, when they commit 3 turnovers, is 1-20, they are now 1-0. When the rest of the league that is minus in the turnover battle for the season are a combined 5-17 for their season-long records, the Chiefs are 2-0. And they are also lucky, Brew, and then I'll give it to you, that a normal, lazy Sunday afternoon in September when you host Jim Nantz and Tony Romo for your 7th or 8th time of the year, that can be what it is for the Chiefs when it's someone else's Super Bowl. Because the Bengals, it was their Super Bowl. They sold tickets to it for a watch party. And the Chiefs can just take a leisurely stroll through your Super Bowl. So, yeah, they're the luckiest team out there, Brew. I agree with everyone on the internet.
Wow. All right. Well, look, to me, it's not luck. This is what the Chiefs do in the Patrick Mahomes era. It just is. They always find a way. Down 10 into the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl.
3 times.
Chiefs win.
Yeah.
Down 3 with 13 seconds left. 13.
Yeah.
Chiefs win. Down 3 in overtime of the Super Bowl. Chiefs win. Mahomes is doing, and Nick might disagree, what the man he's so often compared to did.
Bill Russell, never lose
Michael
a big
Jordan.
game. Sorry.
He always finds a way. And here's the thing, look. That fumble by Burrow, which he should be beating himself up about, 98, it was a backup, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wharton or whatever his name is. it wasn't a full punch out, but he caused that fumble. He caused that fumble where they returned for a touchdown. And then the 4th and 16 play where it clearly was a pass interference. Unless the defender had timed it absolutely perfectly, if he doesn't PI,
that ball's on him.
He's catching it. I mean, assuming Wright doesn't drop it, it was there. Like, he shouldn't even be that open. That pass was right on the money. Like, they made it happen. Now, Nick, I will say this. If there is such a thing as a team in the league that is a problem, or
It's
the
them.
closest thing to
It's
a
the
problem for the
Bengals.
Chiefs, it's the Bengals.
I totally agree.
They match up. Nick, after a week of trash talk, without T. Higgins, they went in the Arrowhead, and I think they outplayed the Chiefs. They outplayed them as far as they gained more yards. They were better in the red zone.
They won the
more
turnover
team in the red
battle.
zone. Yes, but it just didn't happen. But I'll say this: if they meet in the playoffs, they can beat the Chiefs.
By the way,
and I think both teams know.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I agree with you. We did a lot. Last week was weird because we had so many things going on. Then the Thursday night game was so big, and we had that we never actually did the pick a score Chiefs Bengals. But there's a reason the Chiefs weren't included in Nick's picks laying the 6.5, and there is a reason that even though I was so annoyed by some of the Jamar Chase and Cam Taylor-Britt talk, not only do I respect the Bengals, I have a healthy fear of the Bengals. Because every game is this.
Yep.
The Chiefs have won or lost, it's okay. It's going to be a field goal or less game in the final 2 minutes. Neither team, and it doesn't really even feel like it matters how the game is played for the first 45 minutes. It's just going to come down to that. So Wilds, you said before the year that, we didn't argue, but we had a bit of back and forth about how good the Bengals defense is. And I think you were right and I was a little right, which is you were right. The Bengals don't have the greatest defensive personnel. Hendrickson's awesome, but the rest of them are just guys. And numerically last year, they weren't good. I'm probably clouded by the fact, man, they sure look like the best defense in the league every time they play the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Lou Anarumo gives Mahomes more problems than any other DC in the league.
Yeah.
And
were you impressed with anybody on the defense?
Hendrickson. I thought Hendrickson was exceptional.
Anybody else?
Oh, I thought Cam Taylor-Britt.
Can you bring the board out? Ramsey or Josh, can you bring the board out, please?
Wow.
You can't call for my board. Okay, don't
Either
do
you
this.
can do it or I can do it.
What do you mean?
If you talk trash and you make one of the plays, I would say catch of the year.
Yeah, but that's...
Catch of the year so far? Does he deserve to come off the board? I would say yes.
Here's the thing. He would have. I don't know if we can roll the Rashee Rice touchdown. Who'd that come on?
He would. He was talking about Xavier Worthy.
That's great. Well, maybe he was
only run straight. Right? Say I can guard Rashee Rice.
Maybe he was a little too focused on one guy because the other guy caught the first bomb that he got burned.
He got burnt. He got burnt.
Yeah,
that's not what it's about.
Otherwise,
if the Dallas Mayor's on the other side, if he has a bad financial decision, he doesn't stay on the board.
What do you mean? Why I'm telling you,
he can't come on.
He can't come on.
He got burnt.
He got burnt.
Now, it was a wonderful pick.
Yes.
But it's not just Xavier Worthy, it's the Chiefs.
You know what? I'll meet you halfway. Because of the pick, despite being burnt, had they won the game, he would have been the first person to be victorious over the board. Unfortunately, he stays on the board, and soon, you know what? I need to start eliminating some people now that I think about it. Built to beat them, my buddy Joey Burr. Sorry, man. I don't know if you're going to get to see him again this year. There's some eliminations coming, but no. And please, you already made your own board, which I didn't love. Now you're calling for the board.
The guy had the play of the game on the guy who was talking trash.
Really? I thought the play of the game was the scoop score touchdown that flipped the game. That, to me, was the play of the game.
I thought it was the bogus pass interference.
Changed
my mind. It's like you're putting me in
Mayor
the corner.
Lucas, get ready to make another excommunication video when you have time, please.
Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. You're getting my dog. Meanwhile, the Bengals fall to 0-2 for the third consecutive year and fifth time in the last 6 seasons. Burrow, of course, lost a pivotal fumble, but otherwise played fine. Okay, here's the Bengals this season. They lost to the Patriots, lost to the Chiefs, 2 dynasties. One rebuilding, and
that
one
is
currently in the prime. I hate this question and wanted it out of the show. Brew, do you think the Bengals are better than their 0-2 record, even though they are 0-2?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not worried at all about the Bengals.
Wow.
No. And now look, the Chiefs bring out the best in them. They got to make sure they can get this high
need to
for
play it.
play this way against everybody. But this is what they do. It's weird. It's strange. I'm sure they want to correct it, but they're just not able to. 4 of Joe Burrow's 5 seasons, they've been 0-2. And when he's healthy, they're able to overcome that. The year they went to the Super Bowl, they started 0-2.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, look, and then, Nick, there's a schedule.
That's the key.
Their next game is Washington.
Yep.
Should be a W. Then they got Carolina.
Which just got harder because Dalton's going to play. But it's still not an easy
Who knows?
one. Yeah,
Maybe he'll be terrible next week,
yeah.
and Bryce will be back. But anyway, it's a W.
Yeah.
Then they got Baltimore, which is going to need that game.
Giants.
And then the Giants. So at the very least, they should win 3 in the next 4.
Exactly.
So they're 3-3. Maybe they're 4-3, 2.
Yes.
So
maybe.
I think they're fine. As Nick said, Jamar Chase, I still don't think he's fully healthy. Or not healthy, but in rhythm. Because he missed so much of training camp. But he seems to be coming back into it. Trey Hendrickson is a monster. And Burrow yesterday looked great. You still worried about his wrist?
So before
Still on wristwatch.
Really?
Yeah, but he's not on the cover anymore.
All right, he was great.
Who replaced
Other
him?
than the phone.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Right now, it's just a skeleton of a wrist.
Okay, right
Like
now.
when we're jammed up in the editorial meetings, you just put a wrist on.
Because I was going to ask Wild the same thing because I think I didn't ask him to pull the tape, but I think last week you said, and I quote, Joe Burrow's career is all but over. He'll never be the same. I think that was
verbatim.
I think that's it. No. But you seemed, I'm kidding, obviously. You seemed very concerned.
I was very concerned about his wrist. His wrist looked much better this game.
Yes.
Hey, is his wrist 100%? I don't know. He didn't say it was 100%, but he certainly said he looked better. Could he held on to the fumble?
That didn't feel like a wrist thing
knows.
to me,
Yeah,
but I don't.
He got hit by 2 Chiefs at the
He got
same
a
time.
strong wrist there. You're gonna be hold it right there tight.
So do you before I go, you hated this question because as much as you mock, along with me, the USA Today at La Quintas across America for the standings.
Right near the breakfast bar.
You seem to live by it.
Well, not only do I live by it, but pretty much everyone in the world
That's how
lives
the
by it.
playoffs
Yeah, it's like the playoffs live by it. The Super Bowl makes a ton of money. It's like you have to win the game. You have to be like, you know what? That team did lose, but let's elevate them in there.
At the end of the year, that's true. But when evaluating overall strengths of teams, you seem really bothered that Brew and I might think that 0-2 Bengals are not the exact same team as the 0-2 Panthers.
No, they're not exact, but they're very different than the 2-0 Saints. So here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Did you think the game was okay? How a turnover here, turnover there? Do you think the vibes were good? Because the vibes were one of the main reasons I did not like the Bengals. And Jamar Chase,
No, he can't do it.
upset about what he thought, I guess, was a hip drop tackle, upset, throws his helmet, gets a costly penalty, gets into it with Joe Burrow a little bit. That wasn't like, hey, all good. I don't know if other quarterbacks and number 1 wide receiver who are really friends it was a little.
I think that's a big.
I think they are really friends, which is why he could do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to yell at him.
It's not a big deal. Also, I'm going to say
case.
nothing.
Well, here's quickly before you go, Nick. I think what it is, and you see this with the Ravens, the Chiefs games are so big that these dudes losing their cool.
Well, there's another thing though with him. May I go? Am I interrupting?
Well, the contract thing is the bubbling.
No, so it's not just bubbling. It is the thing.
Okay.
Listen. I think that Chase is frustrated. His numbers haven't been what that was a very frustrating game for him.
Yeah.
They're bracketing him the whole game. Now, Gesicki and the tight ends crushed us. Yoshivas had, had a good game. But we can. Jamar Chase, if we show you the numbers, started his career with the greatest game any rookie receiver has ever had. That's not an exaggeration. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Since then, the Chiefs have just been like, no, you're not beating us. And so yesterday was more of the same for him against the Chiefs. But it is the money. It is. But Monty Jones tweeted this out, and he's right. He's like, we all know someone who can't act right if their money's not right. That you can see it. And because I have so much respect for Joe Burrow and this rivalry. Because this is a rivalry. Mm-hmm. We're 1-1 against each other in the playoffs. And I hate bad ownership screwing things up. I'm here to help. Because I do think it's a money thing. So I'd like to drop a banner. Listen, guys, Houday Nation, scan here. We set up a GoFundMe. You can. That's a real active QR code. Scan there, and let's just see if we can get Jamar's contract sorted out. Because I think, Wilds, go ahead and scan it, and you can check.
Oh, my phone's off.
Okay, your phone's off, and my phone fell on the ground. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Brew doesn't know how to scan a QR code.
How's that work?
There's no chance you get this. You're going to end up taking a picture
I got it.
No, there's zero.
Brew, where does it take you?
I will pay.
It takes me to why didn't Jamar Chase sign a contract extension?
Yeah, it takes you to pay Jamar Chase.
Get out of town.
Yeah, it does. Look, it's a working QR code. I'm telling you guys,
I'm not
listen,
sure, but
I don't think he's going to act right. Let me rephrase it. I think this is going to be a story all year. And I think he's going to be on edge and tense all year. We saw the story come out that he took out the insurance policy.
Right.
And so, I think the Bengals will be fine because of Brew's point. They have games against Jaden, Andy Dalton, Daniel Jones, Gardner, Will Levis, Bo Nix, and 4 against the Browns and Steelers. So that's 10 games against bad quarterbacks the rest of the way. So I think they'll be fine. And I think they are a scary team in the postseason, but they're not going to have home field. They got an uphill battle to win the division. All that stuff matters in my eyes.
Just for the record, I'm counting on the Bengals beating the Chiefs in the playoffs and then the Ravens.
I know, that's
Okay,
Bruce
so
Pat.
let's get to the Ravens. Finally, Ravens were well rested at home and huge favorites, and now they are 0-2. Defensive side of the ball also needs to find their mojo. Here are the last 4 series. The Raiders scored 20 points and had 172 yards, 12 first downs. Not great. So, Brew, are you buying that the Ravens will find their mojo?
Yes, but before they find their mojo, and I'm serious, I want John Harbaugh to find his brother Jim's phone number, call him up, because you know what Jim's going to say?
Run the ball?
Run the football.
Well, he might be like, hey, I've got someone that wants to talk to you. It's the offensive coordinator you fired after having the #1 running offense year after year after year.
Run the football. That's what they need to do. They need to, and that will help them find the next thing, their identity. Their team, and we talked about it a little bit last week, they don't have an identity. I agree, Nick. The defense needs to get better. I think it will. The offensive line needs to improve. I think it will. But they don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Derrick Henry, look, 18 carries, 84 yards.
Popped a big
but
one
in
late.
the second half, 10 carries, 74 yards. Yeah. When they scored, I thought it was over when they go up 23-13.
Yeah, it's supposed
I think
to be.
it's over. He runs 6 times in their last 7 plays on that drive, has 36 yards, scores the touchdown. You think it's over. He touches the ball one more time the rest of the game. And so I think they have, they don't know what they want to do. They want Lamar to kind of shine the way he wants. But here's the thing. Lamar's not going to outpass Mahomes in the playoffs. And maybe some other quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud and all that. Yeah. But he can pass well enough to support a strong run game. And so Nick, they have to stop being so predictable. You can't. We know when Henry's in the game, he's running.
Yeah.
When Justice Hill's in the game, they're passing for the most part. They're going to have to play Henry like a full-time back so people don't know what's coming their way and let him run the ball and then play action off of that.
So if I may, though, here's the problem with them running the ball so much in the second half with Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers didn't like it. You're king of vibes. Zay Flowers doesn't use Twitter often. Retweeted this last night. It was still up this morning. Second week in a row that he's had a big first half, and they stopped getting him the ball in the second.
Not good.
That's a bit of a warning sign. Here's another warning sign. This
good.
team is not used to adversity because of their own greatness.
True.
Since the beginning of last year, Lamar, we can just roll through them all, 14-3 up until the playoff game against the Chiefs. Since then, their points are down. His numbers are down. They've lost 3 in a row. And that Ravens defense, Brew, that I was worried about all last year, allowed 25-plus twice. This year, they've allowed 25-plus twice, which brings me to my final banner.
A Ravens
And, Brew,
banner?
this is really going to be painful for you. I'm sorry. But 24 Ravens, more defense, more breakdancer than bully. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Man.
The Ravens
this
have
is beyond the pale.
to breakdancers.
This is a step too
Gardner
far.
Minshew
The
moving
Ravens
up and down the field
breakdancers.
on you. 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 2nd and 20. It doesn't matter.
The Ravens.
Because you're not bullies.
Dare
You're
you.
not punching anyone. You're breakdancing.
Not cool.
It is what it is.
The Ravens.
The breakdancers know nothing but honesty. That's what they are.
As always,
you know what? You're going to ignite
We
them, Nick.
appreciate. I know you're always.
They
kinda-
doing their thing.
I know, but it's
They
supposed
doing
to be insulting. It's always kind of.
No,
that
we
it's
get it.
work.
We
That
get it.
makes sense.
I mean, they getting down, though. Real talk.
You guys are always great.
Great job. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.